It's visual.
Okay. So, nice guys. So, in this workshop, guys, this is going to be the agenda. So, initially, we'll see what are the tools required for the installation and setup. Then we are going to briefly go through, what is this Pandas. Then we will perform some hands-on, like we'll do some data wrangling activities. We'll also see uh, how do we handle some missing values that we may encounter while reading data from different types of sources. And finally, we will have a last Q&A session. Okay. So in between, we are going to have a 10 minutes break also, maybe after 10 o'clock. Okay. I hope it is clear, guys, so far. Okay. So how many of you guys have the setup ready installation part? So pandas, they are ready to use in the system. So you can, if you want, you can do hands-on with me also, Tarek. So I will just guide you how. Okay. So there are two ways of installing, guys. First one is via this Anaconda download. So if I open Anaconda, I am pinging this link in the chat. Okay, you can take it from here. So you can, there are two ways. One is via this Anaconda. So if I open this website, so this is Anaconda's website, guys, and here down below you have the download option. So you can download for Linux, for Mac OS, for Windows, so whatever
Can you
system
mute?
you have.
Can you please mute Robert?
I would request guys who are not speaking, please go on mute. Okay, fine. So you can install, if you have Windows, you have this Windows sign. You have Mac, you have Mac sign. You can download from it and install it. Okay. So once you install it, after installing, we have to open Jupyter Notebook, guys. Okay. So once installed it, so once installed this Anaconda, so there will be three options of opening it. You can find it in Windows Start menu. You can find it in Anaconda prompt, and also you can find it in Anaconda Navigator. So this picture which is there on the right hand side, this is for Anaconda Navigator. So here you can just see the second option is Jupyter. You can just click on launch, it will work. Okay. So this is one way of opening Jupyter. So we will be using Jupyter Notebook here. Okay. For doing our hands-on. So this way you can open your Jupyter. Okay. What is Jupyter, guys? It's just a place where you can write your code. Okay. This is one way. Second way is which I generally follow for my students also. I tell them, you go to the second website. This is Python official website, and in this website, let me open this as well. So you go here, you click on this is the latest version for Windows. Okay, you download this, and once the download is ready, so I'm just opening this exe file. But always remember is while installing Python from this way, uh, you have this checkbox if you can see, right? Use admin privileges when installing py.exe, and also this checkbox add python.exe to the path. This is very important. Okay, so do click on these two checkbox and then click on install. So I already have it installed, so it is not giving me the option to install it. It is giving me, you can uh, install now. Okay, so I can just click on this and it will start installing it. Okay, so once you install Python, and you have to add select this checkbox, okay, to the path. Once you do it, then your Python will be installed. Okay, and once you have Python installed, so from there, if you want to like open Jupyter Notebook or Pandas, you have to follow these steps, guys. You go to the folder where you want to save your Jupyter Notebook, like I will show you. like let's say this is the folder I want to have my Jupyter notebook here. Okay, so here I will just open my command prompt from this. Okay, and I will type this Jupyter notebook. Okay, so once I type this and I hit enter, so it will open in your Edge browser. This is going to open an interface like this. Okay, you see this? And from here, guys, once you open the Jupyter notebook, uh, so pip installed. But before that, you have to, I forgot this command, guys. You have to install it using this, okay? Pip install Jupyter, because when you are installing via this Python, the second option, this Jupyter will not be installed by default. You have to open your command prompt. Let me show you. And you have to type this pip install Jupyter. Okay. So once you type it, guys, then your Jupyter will be installed. So for me, it is already installed. That is why it is showing requirement already satisfied. But for you guys, it is going to start installing it. So far, guys, any question with the installation and setup? Are we clear how to do it? Yes, no, guys.
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, so once you have this Jupyter notebook launch, guys, so in this you have this option here for new. Okay, I will click on this new and I will select this Python 3. So this is going to open your Jupyter notebook, guys. Okay, now we have to use like pandas. Okay, so if you have installed via Anaconda, guys, so you will have pandas available by default. You can just import pandas like this. Okay, you type import pandas and you and we click on run. Okay, so yeah, so this ran myself, guys. Okay, now in this Jupyter notebook, first let me tell you a little bit about the interface, guys. So if you see here, there's a drop down where we have option for code, markdown, and heading. Okay, let's say I want to give a heading to this particular Jupyter notebook. So I am writing like this is learning about pandas. And this Jupyter notebook, guys, this is very famous and it is being used across the industry these days. Okay, so it's always good to be familiar with the user interface here. So I want this to be as a heading, but in my like if you see here, it is selected as code in this drop down, right? So I will just select here heading. Okay, and I will click on run. So this made my heading. Okay, we in this notebook we are going to learn about pandas. Okay, guys. And if guys like you have installed via Python, so you have to do pip install pandas before you trying to import it. Otherwise, it will give you error. Okay, you have to run this command. So for me, it is already installed, so it is giving me a requirement already satisfied. But for people whom by this pandas is not installed, they won't be getting any error in this. Okay. Fine. So now we are going to guys import pandas. Okay, panda. So what exactly is pandas, guys? So if you see this, so pandas is an open source library, guys, for data analysis in Python. Okay, in open source library that it will not cost you anything in using this. Okay, and what advantage pandas like provide? Why it is so famous? You know, it can read data from different types of sources with the help of very easy to use functions. Okay, you can read it very quickly as compared to, for example, reading a CSV file or an Excel file. If you try to read it via Java, C, C++, we have to write lots of lines of code. Okay, and for analysis also, then there's a lot more headache. But in this case, you have such easy functions that you can read it quickly, and then you can perform any data wrangling operations that you want to perform. Okay, so a little bit history about Pandas. It was developed back in 2008 by Wes McKinney. Okay, at that time, he wanted to perform some analysis part, but he was unhappy with the tools that was available that time. Okay, so he developed this Pandas, and he open sourced in the year 2009. Okay, so I will just show you how simple it is used to Pandas. Uh, let's say, so I'm importing Pandas. So importing Pandas means now you can use Pandas here. Okay. Now, this Pandas has got a lot of functions. For example, there is one function called read underscore CSV. Okay, and you give the CSV file path here. So if we go to our workshop, so we have this files folder. Inside files folder, we have different types of files here. Okay, so I will just give files, and I will give the name of the CSV file. Okay, so this one line, guys, so this is reading this file, and I'm storing it in some result. Let's say I'm storing a variable called result. Okay, and then I'm going to print this result. So I've written my code, guys, and then a drop down, we have selected code only, and we are going to click on run. Uh, what is this error? Decay or files in position. This is smartphone and character. Okay, sorry.
Drive path we need to give drive.
Sorry, what is it?
Drive path we need to give, right? Files he will not understand, right? Where is our file folder?
Yeah, so there are two ways you can do it. See, because our this notebook now, this is created in this particular folder. Okay, untitled. Let me rename this file save as. So this is your Pandas. This is the name of our workbook. Okay. Now either you give so here this is the our notebook. Okay, and relative to this we have this files folder. So that is why we can navigate from files to this particular files. So this is
Okay.
one way, or you can give the entire absolute path. You can copy the entire path and give it. Okay, here we are using the relative path because our notebook is also located in the same place now, so we can do like this. Okay. Okay, so if you see this, so this is our output, but this is not coming clear. So let me remove this print statement and just type this. Now you see this pandas read the CSV file with the help of just one function, and this entire CSV file is available here. So this is, what the beauty of pandas is. It can, read it very quickly, guys. Okay. So far we are good, guys.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any doubt? Any questions?
No.
Okay, so this was about how we can, how why pan like how easy in pandas it is to read this file and all. Okay. Uh, so what actually pandas consist of? Okay, pandas data structures. Okay, in Python we have data structures like lists, tuples, dictionaries that are the main heart of Python.
Hello, sir. Sorry to interrupt. We can read multiple files or no?
No, in one go you cannot read multiple files. Like in one particular, you cannot read multiple files.
No, basically in that particular path there was a we have multiple CSV files, so we can't read, right?
No, we can read it. It's we can do it, but I'm talking about this, like one function read CSV, we can only have one file name. If you want to iterate, if you want to iterate over that folder and read each files, that is a different thing. Okay.
Okay, okay.
But in this read CSV function, you can give only one file name. Fine, guys. So coming back to our topic, like in Python, we have data structures like list, dictionaries, tuple set. So Pandas data structure, there are few more, but these are the main. They are the heart of Pandas: series and data frame. Okay, guys. This is the data structure of Pandas. So when we read the CSV file, it is reading it and converting it to a data frame. Okay, the result is a data frame. How do we know this? We have a function in Python called type. Okay, if we do type and we give the name of this variable where we have stored the result, okay, and if we run this, so see, it is showing me pandas core.frame.data frame. Okay, so basically this is the data frame what we are getting here. Just giving here, checking the type of variable using type function. I will mark this as a heading. Okay, so creating a data frame, guys, there are multiple ways of creating a data frame. Okay. And also series also we can create in multiple ways. But in our workshop, we are so series is something it's so first come to data frames. So you can understand data frame, as a two-dimensional data structure. Just like we have a simple spreadsheet like Excel and a SQL table, we have data frame like that. Okay. And data frame consists of, there is one column. If you see if I open my CSV file here, so in this, if you see, we have these columns: role, company, experience, location, and date. Okay. So, and if I go to my data frame, you see role, company, name, experience, location, date. But there's one extra column here, right? The first one is numbering 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 90. So this is called index. So by default, when you read a data frame, when you create a data frame or a data series, this one column will be extra added. Okay, this is called index. Okay, in Pandas series also, there will be one column called index and the other will be value. Similarly, for Pandas data frame also, we have index, we have data, and we have one more index, which are these column names: color, object, price. We will see what are they, how to use it. Okay. So, and there are multiple ways of creating data frame, guys. Okay. So if you see this, so you can create it via an ND array from NumPy, list, dictionary, series, structured array, another data frame series. But here our main point of concentration is these two, is this one, reading different types of files. Okay, so we have these methods for read CSV for reading CSV files, read Excel for reading Excel files, read SQL query. If you want to execute some SQL queries and store the result in a data frame, you can do it. Read HTML. So if you want to read some table from an web page, you can use this. And there are many more read method types. Okay. So this will basically summarize. This has most of the methods. If you see, for this is the file system here, CSV, JSON, SE, you have these methods of data frame that you can use to read different types of sources. So you can use text, you can also use binary files like Excel or maybe Parquet, or you can also write SQL. for reading, and for writing also you have similar methods, like reading is read CSV, writing is to CSV. So these kind of methods are available. So we are going to see them in details now. Okay. Okay, so this is the data frame, guys. And if you take any column from this, let's say I want to take the column company name. Okay. So what I will do, I will just write here. So this is my data frame, and I will just give the square brackets, and I will write the name of this column company name inside this. Okay, and let's store this value in a variable called company, and let me print this company. So if you see this guy's company, it is giving me all the company names, and it is giving me index also. Okay, and if I see the data type of this variable company by using type function, you will see this is a series. Okay, so if we take one column from the data frame, it is a series. So if you go back to series, so it you see it is composed of two arrays. One is index and value. So in this case also, this is the index 0, 1, 2, 3. By default, this will be the index, guys. If you want, you can change the index. By default, it will generate index like this. And these are the values. So this is the series. Clear, guys, so far?
Yes, sir. So, sir, indexing, we do not need to create indexing. There was by default, it's
By
automatically
default,
created.
yes. If you want to create your own index, you are good to go. You can create your own index also. We'll see that by example, how we can create our own index.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So now we have got a series object, guys. What can we do with this series? So in series, guys, we have, there are many methods, but I will concentrate on few important methods. This one, unique and value counts. Okay, these three are important methods for series objects. So let's see, let's say if I want to find the there can be duplicates. See, there are many company names that are duplicates. I want to find only the unique names. Okay, so I will just use this. So we have stored the result in a variable company, right? We'll just use this function unique. So this is returning me an array with only the unique company names. You see this, Wells Fargo was occurring 3 times, but it gave me the result as only 1 time. Okay, so this was unique function to give the unique name, like unique elements from this series. Okay, unique. And we have something called n unique. Okay,
So
so
it will return a series only, right? Output.
no, this output you are getting, this is a numpy array. If you
Okay.
see this array at the beginning, this is a numpy array. Okay, and then if you use this n unique, this will give you the count of the number of, so out of this 20 values, we have 15 unique values. Okay, and the third method that we are going to see here is value underscore counts. We have this value underscore counts. So this will give you the company name as well as the number of the element name and the number of times it is appearing in this. So if we see the data type of the last one, let's see. I'm storing this in some variable called company with count. Okay, and let me execute this again. Okay, and if I want to see the type of this, so you see this is also a series, but in this case, guys, so the index, you see there is no index here, right? Like the index that we have, the default index 0, 1, 2, 3. So here we don't have the default index. Here they have made the company name as the default index, and this is the data. Okay, this they have done it internally. So if you this yeah, so if you see there is an attribute called index. Okay, these are attributes of data frame, as well as for some of them you can use for series also. Okay, so if you want to see, like in this case we have read this data frame. Okay, and if you want to see the values of the index, what index they have used, so you can just give the name of the variable dot index. So it is giving you a range index, start from 0 to 20. Okay, similarly in this case, if you want to see the index for this, so these are the values they're using for index.
Basically, what we are trying is that index, I didn't get you.
Like index, we saw here, like there was some default index getting generated 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? While reading a CSV file, automatically generates an index with these values 0 to 19. Okay,
Yeah.
and we saw some functions unique, and we saw a function value count. So when this value count, this is also generating a series, but here the index value, instead of being the default index value 0 to 19, it is giving me the company name as the index values.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to show. Like with the when we use value counts, by default the default index 0 to the numbering thing will not be there, but the company name will be there as the index.
Okay. So, sir, in there was we get output in form of a numpy array. So, if I want to output in list form, so how can I convert? Yeah, there was in numpy array, na? Yeah, this
Um,
this output. No, below.
below
Yeah,
The
this
unique
output
one, sir. The unique one.
unique. Right,
this one, right?
right.
Okay, so we have this. Okay, let me store this. So this is a numpy array. Okay, and if you want to, so for inserting a new cell, guys, either you type B from your keyboard, it will insert a new cell below. Okay, so let's see numpy array, right? So numpy array should have some method called to list. You see this method to list?
To list, right.
So you can use it, and let's say we're storing in some variable called L, and we're printing this L. So this will give you the result in a list form.
Okay. Okay. So dot to list, dot to array, we can convert in any form, right?
Depends, like what are the functions. So numpy array has a function called toList, so that is why you are able to use this toList.
Okay,
Okay.
got it.
If there is some function which is not available, if you try to use it, then it will give you error. Okay, that this method is not available. Let's say I'm giving it to dictionary. So it's saying it
Mm-hmm.
says no attribute per to dictionary. Okay. So it
Okay.
depends what are the methods available for that.
Yeah, got it.
Fine. So we are clear with series. We are clear with data frame. Let's go back. Though there are some attributes of data frame that we can use to check some details. Okay, for example, when we read this CSV file at the beginning, okay, so it is not possible for this when the data will be very huge. Here we have only 20 rows, so it is fitting here. When the number will be 100, 200, it won't be able to show you all the rows and columns here. Okay, it will give you some dot and some values. Now to check, how many rows and how many columns this particular data frame has, you have this attribute called shape. Okay, so what I will just write this result dot shape. Okay, so if you do this, it will give you the number of rows and the number of columns. Okay, so there are 20 rows and 5 columns. So this is one attribute called shape. Okay, if you want to see the column names, so we have some attribute called columns. Columns is also an index array, just like we have the first index array, but this is an index array, and these are the column names: role, company name, experience, location, date. Okay, so we have this attribute shape, we have this attribute columns, we have this attribute index that we just saw. It will give you the what index you're using. We have this attribute called size. Okay, so if you see the size of this, size will basically give you the number of elements that are present. Okay, so there are 100 elements present, guys. Like if you 20 rows, right, and 5 columns, so 20 into 5 is 100. So there are total 100 elements present. Okay, and we have an attribute called D type that will give you the data type. Okay, so each column, it is giving you the data type. So data type, guys, for Python we have a different data type, and for Pandas they have their own data type. Okay, so one of the data type is called object. So here, like company name, all the values in the company name, they are all of data type object. Okay, so if I open this file here, so Pandas data type, guys, these are different data types of Pandas. One is object, okay, which we are getting right now. We have other data types like int, float, boolean, date, time data category. Okay, but mostly if you read a CSV file, it will give you the data type as object. Okay, guys. So far, guys, are we good? Any doubts? Any questions so far?
It only provides the object of the column wise, not row wise, right?
No, not row wise. It is giving you all the like column wise, right? Because the data is present in the because if you see row, there might be one might be a string, one might be a numerical value, one might, so it will be causing confusion if it shows your data type like that, right? So each row will have their own data type. Each column will have their own data type.
Okay.
And when we're doing dot size, right? So it is giving the number of rows. So is it like when we're doing in the Spark, right? So it is not recommended to do the count. So can we use this instead of that?
No, I didn't get your question, Ashit. Can you come again, please?
When we are doing dot size, so it is
Dot
giving the number
size.
of rows, correct?
Number of elements.
Elements.
Yeah.
Okay.
A number of rows we are getting from here. When we do a dot shape, so it's going to 20, 5, 20 rows and 5 columns.
Okay. So like, is it when we are doing in the Spark, right? Dot count. So it
Yeah.
takes everything to the driver. So it may give the out of memory sometime.
Correct,
The
correct.
data frame.
That's right.
So can we?
When our file is very huge, right? Or
Yeah.
when our file is very huge, so what we do first, we check the type of it, like size of it, before doing this kind of operation, size. Because this might take a lot of you, right? You might run out of memory, right? If the
Correct.
file is very huge.
So same case with this as well.
Yeah, same case with this also.
Okay.
And it has also got some other options for reading also. Now you can read it in blocks if the file is good, na? Rather than reading all
Hmm.
that all the records, you can use read it in blocks. Block size you can give. So those kind of
Okay.
options are available in this also.
Okay.
So, sir, this Panda library we use to analytics purpose now.
Correct.
Okay, so in big data analytics, so we get mostly huge amount of data. So that time we apply this operation like save or count. So you said we face out of memories. So
Correct. So when so that is where when it is very huge, you say, right? So
Mhm.
so that is where the PySpark comes into picture. Okay, because you can then run your programs or read it in chunks across different systems. Okay, rather than creating a load on a
Okay,
one such particular system.
so basically we if we have a huge amount of data, then we apply Spark data frame, and if we have less amount of data, then we only apply Pandas library, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so
Is
coming
this
back,
for like a single node? We go for pandas, or on a cluster we'll go for
Multiple node.
PySpark. A
ah,
multiple node when it is PySpark.
correct,
Am I correct?
correct, correct, correct. If it is
Okay.
distributed, we go for PySpark, and if it is like single node, you can use Pandas also.
Oh,
Okay, okay.
Okay. And I think that these days, I was recently reading an article. They have added some features also for Pandas and integration between Pandas and PySpark. I have not explored, but I think there is some few things on that also. So you can see the compatibility between these two. Okay, so coming back to our main topic, yep. So now let's see what can we do while like what other options we have. So while reading this CSV file, right? Let's say uh maybe I want to read only few columns. I don't want to read all the columns from this. Okay. So let me copy this again and so we have this option when you are reading this CSV file, you can pass n number. There are different types of keyword argument that we can pass here. Okay, there are many. There are around 20, 30. There is one thing where you can use something like this use calls. And in this use calls, you will pass a list of the columns which you want to see. For example, from this CSV file, let's say I want to see only the role and company name. I don't want to see these columns. These columns are not important for me. Okay. I want to read only role and company name. So what can we do here? We can just give the name of the column here. Okay. In a list use calls role, comma, company name. Let me copy this. Let's say we are creating a data frame and I'm going to name it data frame underscore CSV. Okay. So now we have only two columns. So if you want, so any number of columns you can give. You want 3 columns, you want 4 columns, you want 5 columns. You can give it like this.
Again, it become a data data frame, right?
Yes, it's a 2D, right? So whenever it's a 2D, it will become a data frame only. Okay. Now let's say in this I don't want the default indexing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to make any one column as index. Okay, it can be date, it can be location, it can be experience, any one column. Okay, so we have another argument here that we can pass. We can just type here index call equals to name of the column which you want to make as the index. Okay, so let's say I want to make date. So I will just give the column name as date. Okay, now if I run this, we're getting some error, index date invalid. Why is it so? Let's check. 1 minute.
I
Let's
think date is a reserved word for the date data type, right?
I don't think so. Let me try. Let me give some because some other name and let's see it's working or not.
Uh, Date should be unique, right? Then only it can be index, or index is a unique value.
No, like let me check that. There is no condition like that we there should be like unique value. Okay. Location RB. There's some index location is invalid. Why it is invalid? Let me change the code. Let's see this. This is working. So single code. I'm giving a double code. No. What is the error we are getting? Invalid.
I think we need to put index, not the index underscore call.
Yeah, right. Index call is not defined. No?
Are we getting that error? Index call is not defined. Let me check it. String index location invalid. Okay, no issues. Whenever we are stuck in this kind of problems, na, we can always refer the documentation. Okay, for reading CSV. Okay, because here you more or less you have to remember the exact syntax. Less of logic and more of remembering the keywords, and also there might be some problems like this. Okay, so let's say so many arguments we can pass here. Okay. So let's see where we have this index.
Index
Can you
call is there. Second line.
We
Yeah,
have to pass index actually,
index
not the
unders.
column name.
Okay, so here we see we have this index underscore call, right? This is one parameter we have, right?
Mm.
So, but you guys are saying we can use only index, right? So let's see this. No, see this we have to pass.
And one
Can
more
you
thing,
pass
like
zero?
can we give the location in a like a big bracket?
Yeah. No, actually, we have to pass the 0, 1 to the
The
index,
square bracket,
particular
yeah,
index.
list. Can you make it as a list?
Yes.
Location as a list.
Is that? I don't think so. This should be the problem. No, this is not. Wait a minute. Let me give some unique. Let me create one list. Okay. Let's say list of index. And in this list, let's say we have only the. Let me remove this index column for the time being. How many rows are there? There are 20 rows. Okay. So just let me create one array here. List I for I in the range of 20. So we have 20 unique values for this. Okay, now is I try to use this index underscore call equals to list underscore index. So list index out of range. Why? Because we have 20 columns only. No, it should not give me this. There are 20 rows here, so there should not be the problem, right? Because Okay, no issues, guys. Let's keep this on the hold index value. No point in spending much time. Maybe we'll take a short break now. 5 to 10, I will sort it out why we are getting this error. Okay,
Okay.
cool. No problem. No point in spending much time there. Okay, fine. So let's say we have this column names here. Now, I want to, instead of use columns, I want to see all the records. Okay. So we have this CSV file. We have this file, guys. Now, what I want to do from this is I want to create here one more column. Okay. I want to add one more column to this data frame. Let's say the name of the column is something like this. Sweet. Mandatory skill. I'm just creating a column called mandatory skill. Mandatory skill. And in this column, I want to give the name as Python. Okay. And after I do this, I just want to check my data frame again. Now you see this one extra column got added mandatory skill, and the same value is replicated across. Okay. In this way, you can add an extra column like this. And if you want to say, let's say you want to have some not the same value, you have another list. Let's say we have if you don't want to repeat the same values, then what you need to do, you need to create a list like this, what we have created. Okay. And then you can add it. So let me show you that also, how we can do this. So we can, so let me just give the name as row number. Okay. And in this, I'm just going to pass the name of that list that we created. The length should be same. Okay. If there are 20 rows, we have to give 20 values. So the list size should be 20. So in this case, let's copy this list of index. Then this. So now you see this, it will have a different value for each row. Okay, so this is how we like add an extra column to our existing data frame, guys. Okay.
One question. If
Yeah.
the row number list is more than 20, then will it be able to add it? Like have you the way you have added row number?
Let's check it out. So let me create till 25 here. Okay.
Okay.
So we have values from 0 to 24. Now, if I try to run the same operation, now first there will be duplicate. There is already one row number here. Okay. So let me drop it first. So we can just give here df underscore csv dot drop, and inside drop I will give the name of the column here. So what is the name? Drop was equal to name of the column is row number. This is going to drop, but it will create a new data frame, guys. Okay, so let me call it a new data frame. Okay, and let's see if this is working or not. Calls. Okay, so different calls. If I just use drop and the name of the row, then this should work, or only this bracket should do. It's executing. Let's see. Those are labels for rows or columns, row number not found in the access. we have to give here axis equals to 1. Will this work? Yep. So we are giving the column name, guys, and we are giving axis equals to 1. Okay. So here axis equals to 1 means column wise. Okay. Similarly, you can drop rows also. We'll see that. So right now you see we have this column dropped. Okay. The extra column that we had, row number. We just use drop function. We pass the name of the column inside the list and we give axis equals to 1. Okay, this is the new data frame. Now in this, let's come back to your question, whether we can add a list which is greater in size. Let's see that. So I will just copy this only. I will just change the name of the data frame. New data frame. Yeah, new data frame. So see, we are getting an exception. Length of value 25 does not match the length of index 20.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a way like we can add this 25 number of rows in the Excel sheet?
If you want to add extra rows to it, right? So we already have some row. If you want to add some extra rows to it, so how can we do that? Let's see. Do we have some method called a starting from a? What do we have? Add a. So inside add, can we pass a list of values? So we'll check on this. Okay, we'll check on this. So I think there should be some way. If there's an add method over here, then I think we can pass the list of the values. So we'll check on this. Okay, and we'll check it after the break. Fine.
Okay.
So this is not allowed. Coming back to the slide, we have some important methods for data frame like head, tail, sample, log, ilog, drop. Okay, so let's check each one of them. So head is like, okay, so this is our data, which what is our latest data frame? PDF. Let's see. Okay. So this is our data frame. Now if I perform the head operation here, df underscore csv dot head. So head is returning your first 5 rows from the top. Okay. Head. Now in this head, if you pass a number like say 10, okay, so this will give you the first 10 rows from the top. Okay. Similar to head, we have a method called tail. Okay. This will give you the last 5 rows. And if you give a number like 10, so this is going to give you the last 10 rows. Okay, these are head and tail. Sample is something, it will return sample, you say 7. Okay, df, no, it's not df, it's df underscore cs. Yeah, so this will randomly pick any 7 rows. Okay, if you have 1,000 of rows, you want to analyze some 10-20 rows randomly rather than from the top or from the bottom, you can just use this sample, this one sample method. Okay, so sample is there, then we have log, ilog, drop, and short values. Okay, so this we covered handling. So this okay, so this functions for this log, ilog, drop, and this one short value, right? So these we will just cover after the break. But before the break, I want to cover the different read method, right? Let's say we have read a CSV file so far, okay? Let's try to read some file from different types of sources. Let's say I want to I want to execute a query, and store the result in the data frame. Okay? Make this as a heading. So let's say I have MySQL installed in my system, guys, okay? And inside this, I have a table called Amazon, which are having these values, okay? Now I want to read, it can, in this case, it is MySQL. So you can use any other database, okay, of your choice. And then you can execute a SQL query over here and store that result in a data frame. Okay. So for that, guys, first you have to create a connection object for that. Okay. So in my case, since I'm using MySQL, we have a third-party library to connect with MySQL that is called PyMySQL. Okay. This third-party library will be different for each database. For like it will be a different library for integrating this with Python. So you need to find out what the particular third-party library that is going to integrate with your database. Okay. So in this case, for MySQL, I have PyMySQL installed, guys. Okay. So I will just import this PyMySQL module and I will create a connection object. Okay. So PyMySQL dot connect, and in this host name as so this is my local host only. And database name is the database name. So I run this. Yeah, this is the database name. So I think we can see. So this is my connection object. Let me run this to see everything is working or not. Fine. So once we get our connection object, guys, so in Pandas, we have this method called read SQL. Okay. In this, I will pass the query that we want to execute. That is here select star from the table name, and I will pass the connection object. Okay, connection. And let's say I want to store it in a database in a data frame called df underscore SQL. Spread this. Okay, so we have successfully read this executed this query and we have got the result and we have stored in a data frame. Please. So we are getting some warning like Pandas only supports SQL Alchemy connectable. Okay, so let's ignore that. And so this is how, guys, we read execute any query from a database and store this in a data frame. Then whatever operations that we can perform on data frame, na sample, head, tail, you can perform like that. Okay, this was reading from SQL.
Okay, so sir, you define that connection variable, or in bottom you write connection in ऊपर वाले upper में ना? यहाँ पे ये नीचे कनेक्शन ये वाला है।
Yeah, this I was just printing the connection, name of the connection object, just to show that our connection is successful or not.
Okay.
Okay. Just to check, that is not required. Fine. So this was about reading SQL, guys. Now we have a method for reading HTML like tables from a web page also. Okay. So I will just see that. How do we do that? So once this is clear, then we will see like what else we can do here. Okay. So reading HTML, guys. Let me open a HTML page here. Let's say trading view. Okay. So to trading view. In this markets, stocks, let's say all-time high. Okay. We have this. Okay, so this guys, so this is a table. Okay, if I open the, if I inspect this, yep. So if you see, guys, in this HTML page, we have a table. Okay, this entire thing is in a table. Okay, so when you have a table in your HTML page, and let me copy this URL. So read HTML, I'm giving the URL for this. Okay, this is not it will not return a data frame initially. It will just return a list of HTML tables. Okay, list of HTML tables, and just what can we do? We can print this. Let me execute this. PD is not defined. Okay, we have not given an alias for this. We're using pandas only. Okay, if you see, guys, just printing this. Okay, but if you see the type of this, so basically, read HTML is going to return a list of HTML tables. Okay, so we are seeing this type is list. Okay, if I want to see the length of this, so we'll use this length function. How many elements are there in this list? We have only one element, guys. Okay, now if I access that one element, so in list we just access it by index. Okay, so this gives me the first element. This will be a data frame. Okay, and if I print this, see this, now it read this particular table from this. Okay, all these values, and it has stored it as a data frame. So there are many rows, see 100 rows and 12 columns. So in this way, guys, so we saw reading from a CSV file, we saw reading from a SQL query, we saw reading from an HTML file. Okay, so this is how there are a lot of more methods of read. As you see in the slide, for reading there are many more methods. Read CSV, read JSON, read HTML, read clipboard, read Excel, HDF, Stata, Excel, Parquet, everything. Not possible to cover all, guys, so I have just shown you the basic ones. Okay, any question, guys, so far?
Sir, you how to extract only tables? That part.
How to extract only?
Only table. There was in HTML page many content like header, footer.
So this read HTML will only pick up your tables only. If there is more than one table, it will take two tables here. So it did it copy the content. If you see this HTML page here, which I opened, so there are a lot of other things also, right? These
Right.
Indian stock market, these all those links are there. It captured only the table, right? It did not capture the content of it.
So it will
Right.
capture all the tables, right?
All the tables that is present in this particular web page, all the tables.
Okay.
So for that, then we have to just use indexing as a list, and because it will return a list of tables, so we have to use indexing which table we want.
No, but my question here is, if we look into the length, right? So it's
Yeah.
give me only one, why it is?
Because there's only one table in this web page.
Okay, if suppose there are two tables, so it will give me two length, right?
Correct.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
And will it be the number of columns in both the tables need to be same, or like it can be different?
Can you come again?
I'm saying like can be the number of columns be different in both the tables, and it can read the HTML data.
No, if like both the we are taking one table only here, right? So there can be two. Let's open a website which is having more than one table. Okay. So let's open a website for money control. Money control will have a lot of tables. Stock market. Okay, I hope there are multiple tables there. Okay. So if I read this particular URL, multiple Pandas.read HTML. Data frame, money control MC. No, this is not a list of data frame, right? This is a list of data frame MC. And I just want to see the length of this. So there are 47 tables. You see this 47?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and each will be of, obviously it will be of different shapes and size, right? Everything will not be same here. Which some will have more rows, less rows. Let's say I want to find the so there sometimes there will be some improper tables also. Okay, let's say randomly I want to see the table data frame present at position 22. Okay, so we have only two rows here. Company days, high current. If I give some other index value, let's say 12, so there's no rows here. Okay, so sometimes it will capture some junk values depending on the HTML how it is designed. Okay, so it is having 4 rows here. Okay, so this way you can read it, guys.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so
My question is, hello.
yes,
Yeah, my question is like when you're reading from CSV,
yeah,
and if you suppose you have 10 fields,
yeah.
and once you ran it and you got 10 fields, next time if you any one of the field is missing, then how do you handle that part?
Correct. We have it in the second part of our workshop. We'll see that.
Okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 10:14 now. Let's take a 15 minutes break. Okay. And we'll come back and then we'll cover the rest of the topics.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, sure, guys. So where were we? Yeah. So we just covered with reading like different types of from HTML, SQL, CSV files and all. Fine. So coming back to let's explore some of the methods that we have here. Okay, like log, ilog, drop, short values, how we can use it. Okay. So let me read the CSV file again. So we have, and in many places, guys, you will see rather than pandas, they will use an alias PD. Okay, so we can also like change it here. But no, fine, let it be that only. But you can use it like this also. If you want to use short form for pandas as PD, you can use this also. Okay, PD dot. You will see in many places. But here we are not giving an alias. So we are using pandas only. Okay. So pandas dot read underscore CSV. We'll give the file name here. Files and the name of the file. We'll say. So just now, guys, I was checking when I was just checking this index call and this was working fine. I don't know why it was not working that time. I give it a state. Okay. And let me store this. Okay. So now if you see this, guys, we have it by with the column, right? We gave the just index and so called same syntax only, but not sure why it was not working that time. But we can make any column as an index like this. Okay.
Yeah, why we are like converting any column in this? But what's the benefit like?
What's the benefit is let's say if you have a 20 unique records here, right? If you have 20 unique records for a particular column, it's like user's choice. They don't want the default one. Okay, let's say I want to have the company name. Each company name is unique. I want to identify each row by the company name. Like say IBM. Okay, IBM is hiring for this role, this experience, this location. So there is no compulsion. It's your choice. If the user wants to make an index of their own choice rather than by going by the default.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no compulsion here. It's a user's choice. Okay. So let's go back. So this is our the main one. Okay. Now in this now will show you the use of this lock and iLock. Okay. So basically lock and iLock, guys, this is used for subsetting the data frame, like making a subset of the original data frame. Subset of the original data. So we have this data frame, and if I want to use the lock method, so inside this lock method, guys, so what you need to do, not lock, just list bracket, you have to pass the index, okay, and the column names which you want. For example, from this data frame, I want, maybe the first record, maybe the third record, maybe the fifth record, maybe the eighth record, maybe the 10th record. I want only these 5 rows. Okay. And for column name, let's say I want only the role, and I want company name, company name, I want experience. Okay. So let's say this is the subset. And okay, so this will create you help you in creating a subset of the data frame. Okay, this lock method, and this lock method is taking a square bracket, so you have to keep in mind about this. So similar to this lock, we have method called iLock. Okay, so only difference between lock and iLock is for iLock, instead of this column names, you can give the column index column numbers, like role will be the first 0th column, company name will be the first column, like that. So instead of this, we can just pass it 0, comma 1, comma 2. Let's say I want these first three columns, 0, 1, and 2. And you can run it. Okay, same thing. So this was like just subsetting the data frame, lock and iLock. Okay, so drop, we saw how we can drop a column, right? By giving the column name and access equals to 1. Okay. Let's say let's add a new column to this particular data frame. So let's say df.csv, and I'm adding one skill here, mandatory skill, and I give here a spike. Now let's say I want to drop this particular column, guys. So what we can do, we have this drop method dot drop, and in this we can pass the column names let's say the it's mandatory skill, right? So I will just copy this name, mandatory skill, and I have to give access. Okay, so access, uh so if you can either give access as one or one for the column. Okay, this will also works. And after dropping, guys, this is let's say we dropped it. Okay, and so it is no longer present. Okay, and then if we see our original data frame, we see it is still there, right? But in this it got dropped. So can anyone tell me why like this? It is showing, it is not showing any row here, but our original data frame is still intact.
It creates a new data frame actually when we drop.
Yes, it creates a new data frame. So if I want the change to be reflecting in the original data frame, then what shall I do?
We need to add in place is equal to true, I guess.
Yes, so there is a keyword here, okay, called in place. So you can mark it as in place as true. Okay, when we do this, and then if we print the original data frame, you see it now the original data frame is modified. So whenever we want to any value to be reflecting in our original data frame, we have to use this keyword in place equals to true. Okay, so instead of axis equals to 1, I think we can give axis as now it is dropped, right? So we have to add it again. So let's add it again. Instead of axis equals to 1, you can also give axis as what is that? I think column, right? Axis as column. Let's say this is working or not. Can we do this? No, this is not allowed. I give columns. No, if I only use axis equals to column is not defined. No. Okay, so we have to give axis equals to columns. Okay, either give one or give axis as columns. So it will drop it. Okay, now if I want to drop some rows, okay, so this was columns. So this is now my data frame. Now I want to drop the, let's say, the row at the second one. The second one I want to drop. Okay, so I will just copy the same thing. Drop. Instead of now the column name, I will give the index value. Okay, so the index value is 1. I want to drop the first row. Okay, let's say first and the third row I want to drop it. I give 1 comma 3. Instead of axis equals to columns, I can give axis equals to rows. Okay, so let's run this. This is executed, and let's try to print the original data frame now. Now you see the first and the third row is dropped.
First comma 3 means like first column, third row.
No, so since we are giving axis as rows, right? So we are giving the index value. You see this index value 1 for this row and this 3 for this row. So these two rows are getting dropped. We saw how to drop a column. Now we are dropping a row.
Okay, first and third row delete.
Yes,
Right?
this first and third is the index value. Okay, guys. If you have a
Right,
different
right.
index value, so you have to give that index value.
Okay. Can we delete a particular record like it's deleted whole row, third whole row?
I just deleted the full first and third row. Now in this, when you do this,
Yeah, we can't delete a particular record like if you want to third row and we want to delete only row.
only roll the column you are saying.
Yeah, yeah.
So here we dropped now mandatory skill. You see this? We have dropped. There was one column added here, mandatory skill.
No, no, it's deleted a whole column, na.
Yes,
I'm
correct.
saying particular row, particular column at a particular record.
Oh, you
Well,
want, let's say you want to remove only the senior data in the
Senior data
engineer.
engineer. Right, right, right.
Okay.
In in SQL side, like we define role is equal to senior data. And
Okay, so you want to drop a particular row and particular column. Okay, so let's see whether we can do it or not. Okay, so let me try. I also have not done it. Let me try. So
okay,
let's say
and also in Spark data frame, we can use percentage SQL to we can write SQL code. So like
no,
here we
here
can
we
use.
don't have that. Here we don't have that option. So let's say this is the first. We don't have the first row. Sorry. Let's say this is the 0th row, and I want the first 0th column. Okay. And here instead of this role, I want to give my data. Let's see whether this is working or not. Not sure. My data, and then I want to print the CS. Okay, so this way we can override the value, but deleting in the sense, what do you want to make it? See, I have overridden this value, right? By selecting this particular cell, I've given my own value.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this way you can, with the help of this iLock and lock, what we see now, we can change any value that we want. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Now this method is done. Let's say head, tail, sample, log, iLog, drop, short values. Okay. So short, let's say I want to short our data frame by the company names. Okay. By the company name. So I will just use this function df underscore csv dot short. So for shorting, guys, short values, what you have to do is you can inside this bracket you can give by, or you can just give the name also. Let's say I'm just giving the company name here. Okay. Company name. Short values, and if I run this, so by the company name, guys, it is shorting. See, this numeric value is taken first, and then C, D, E, F. Okay. Now, if you want to short it by, let's say, more than one column names. Okay. If you want to sort it by more than one column name, then you can just pass it a list. And inside this list, I can have different values. Let's say company name and role. I want to sort by these two values. Role, comma, company. Okay, if I do it now, we see this Azure, and then CCT like this. So it is sorting by these two companies. Is this clear, guys?
On the basis of sequence, like we have provided first role and then company name.
Yeah.
Like
So
first you will sort on the basis of role and then it will be
and then
visible.
on the company name, correct?
Okay.
Okay, so this
And
was
one more
yes.
question is in that PowerPoint. So over there you have given a list of attributes, right? So in only the drop column, it creates a new data frame. In all the cases, it is
No,
reflected.
when we are when we are shorting this, okay, we have shorted it. Okay, now if I see the original data frame, it is still intact. Why? Because this created a new data frame
Okay.
after shorting. Okay, we can store it in another data frame, print it. If we want it to reflect in the same data frame, again we have to use the same thing, in place equals to true.
So it will I need to do in place is equal to true for all the cases of attributes which is in the Excel in the PowerPoint.
See, drop and short values you have to do. Okay, lock and iLock is just creating a new data frame by default. It has got nothing to do with the original data frame. Similarly, for these also, sample, head, tail. Head and tail is for displaying. It's not creating a new data frame. Sample. These are for displaying purpose. Okay. This is for subsetting the data frame to create a new data frame, obviously. And these two, if you want to like say it to reflect in the original data frame, you have to give in place equals to for these drop and shortcuts.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. So what else do we have in this? This we have covered handling missing values. Okay, but before that, just one thing. Let's say from this experience, I want to create two columns from this experience. One is min experience that will have only the first value 5, and one is max experience that will have the other value 10. Okay, we want to split this experience column into two columns, min experience and max experience. Okay, so is this clear what we are trying to do, guys?
Sorry, can you please repeat?
So from this column, I want to create two more columns. Instead of 5 to hyphen 10 years, I want one more column for minimum experience, and I will have only 5 there. And we will have one more column for maximum experience, and we will have only 10 there, rather than like this. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. So how do we go doing that? So we take let's say I want to add one extra column called min experience. And here I will uh, take so from this experience I want to extract, I want to uh, carve two values for it. Okay, so we take this experience, and then we have to first see all we as we saw in the beginning, all the values here, the data type is object. Okay, object. So first I will convert this to a string value. Okay, so I will use this method called as type. Okay, and I will give here a string. Okay, let's see if this is working so far, then we will do the rest of the stuff. So df is not defined. It is why? Because we are storing in df underscore cs. So now it converted to a string. So once we have this as a string, we can use the string function called split. Okay. So this needs a little bit Python knowledge, guys. This is just a simple split method that we have for string. Okay. So we are splitting it with a hyphen. Okay. And then after splitting, it will convert this to a list. And before hyphen will be the first element. So I will just do a 0. And uh, what is which series has no object called split? Okay. So okay, basically it's still a series. So we are not able to apply this. So what we can do, we have this apply method, and inside this apply method, right, we can use an anonymous function like this, lambda x, and here I can use that split function. Hyphen 0. So if I do this now, you see this, we created another column with only the minimum experience. Okay, so similar to this, you can convert to a max. So any column if you want. So this I wanted to show you any column values you want to change, guys. So you can first convert the type of it, the each data type, and then use this apply function. Inside this apply, here I am using an anonymous function. You can use a normal function also to change any value. Let's say for IBM, you want to convert all the company name to lowercase. So that also you can do via this. So here we are extracting or making two columns from one column. So these kind of functions you can apply in this way. In this first you change the type, let's say we have the column now minimum experience. Okay, and now I want to increase the minimum experience by 1. Okay, I want to increase the value by 1. So we can just, do the same thing. Instead of lambda x dot spread, I will give lambda x equals x plus 1. Okay, and we can change the column name here, create a new column. So these kind of things we can do. Okay. So my those who are my existing students, they can understand this, because we have covered this while covering this, right? Anonymous function base. Okay, so this leaves little bit of Python knowledge, but that's fine. So coming to our slides, back to our slide, we now we'll check this handling missing values. How we can handle missing values? Okay, what are these NaNs? So for that, we have one file. We are going to read an Excel file. Okay, so pandas dot read Excel, and in this Excel file, so where is the file? So what files? This is the Excel file. Dot Excel sx. Okay, and in this, I want to. So if I open this Excel file, guys, so we have different sheets in this Excel file. Okay. We have orders, returns, people missing. There's one. This is one worksheet called missing. So I need this file. I want to take this missing. Okay. So here we have the option in this read Excel method that we can give this parameter sheet underscore name equals to the name. So in this case, the name is missing. Okay, and let me try to print this. What error we are getting? No such file or directory. Why we are getting like this? We have it, right? Are we doing this in the Oh, so guys, this is an old format Excel S, okay, but we are trying to do an Excel SX. So if you do it Excel S, then I think this should not be a problem. Yeah. So if you see, guys, we have read this Excel, this particular sheet, and this particular sheet is having some missing values. If you see this row number 10 for customer is missing, some is missing here, some is missing there. Okay, so we have these things as missing. Now to handle this, so and the missing values which the pandas data frame is not able to understand, it will just give you an NaN value. You see this NaN? Okay, we have this NaN values. Now there are different ways of handling this NaN values. Okay, first, if you want to check whether it's null value or not, so you have this method called is null. Okay, so in this particular data frame, if I give here is null, so it is giving me a true and false value. Like if you see wherever there is an NaN value, for example, this second product first value is NaN values, so give me true. Okay, and this value, all the null values is showing as true. So this null value will check whether uh, it will just show you a true and false. Okay. Now, if you want to see whether a particular column, let's say product, has any null value or not. Okay. So in that case, we'll select that particular column name. Let's say product. and we have this attribute called has nans. Okay, has nans. So we can see, okay, this column is having null values. Okay, now how do we like fill these null values? So we have some methods for filling the null values. Let's say in this particular so either you can if you select the entire data frame and you want to fill the all the NaN values, so you can use this function called fill NA, that we are filling the missing values. In this you want to give any value. Let's say I want to give here missing values. Okay, and then I want to see this. So it did not made any changes to this. Why? Because it is creating a new data frame after doing this. Okay. So let's get a data frame variable without NaN. Okay, this is my new data frame name, and I want to print this. Now you see this, instead of this NaN values, it is giving me this one missing values. Okay. There are a couple of more methods of filling this rather than giving the missing values. So we have something called fill NA, and this I have some option. I can just give here method equals to ffill. Okay. df ffill. So so what is ffill doing, guys? Let's say let's take any column here, this one. For example, this NaN is missing. This NaN is this was missing value. Okay. Now ffill means forward fill. So before this, the record that is there, Ruben Osman, it will copy the same value here to Ruben Osman. This one, if you see this here, customer, it copied the same value. Okay. Similarly, for this, here it was missing in the 7th index, it was missing the value. So it will copy the from the top accessories. Okay, similarly, here it was missing forward fill means it will just copy the value that is preceding it. So in this case, we will copy this 11.7741. Okay, but you see this one value is still NaN. Can anyone tell me why this value was not filled with any value?
No previous value.
Previous value.
Correct. There was no previous value. Similar to ffill, guys, we have one more method called bfill. Okay, this will just take the value which is coming after it and fill the null values. Now, if you see this, now we have a value for this product missing it. Just take the last value. If I go phones, right? It will take the after value phones. Okay, it copied the phones here. Okay, but if any value is in the we have any null value at the end last row, then it is not going to be filled. Just like what we saw in the case of ffill. Clear, guys, so far? Any doubt in this?
Yeah, I have one doubt here.
Yeah.
So when you're using this fill NA method,
Yeah.
so suppose for one column the data type is string, for another it is integer. So when you use fill NA and you give a string, so for everything it is filling the string only, no? But how do you fill specific values? Like if it is type of integer, then fill integer. If it is string, then fill string.
Correct. So in that case, you have to select that particular column. For example, in this profit, these are like floating point values, right? And in this, we have one missing value, okay? Profit.
Yeah.
So I will take that particular data frame, like df underscore let's say what is the name of our original data frame, df underscore excel. So df underscore excel. So this is the entire thing. I will take one particular column here. Okay. I will take profit. And I will take this profit and I will use fill NA method here. And here you can give your like the integer value, or let's say you want to what can we do? Yeah, you want to do something like this. Excel profit. So there are some methods available. Like one of the method is I want to find the, let's say average. I want to replace it with the average value. Okay. I do this df no average value of what? I think dot mean will be here. Let's see. And let me store this in a new underscore detail. Okay, now you see this value got replaced by the mean value of all the values.
Okay.
Okay, and then you can append it to the, let's say now
So,
I want to,
wait, for example,
yeah.
mm, so for example, in your Excel, you have hundreds of column, and each column have one field missing. Then you'll have to write this line 100 times for each different column.
So if you have 100 columns and yeah, if you want to see, if you for each column, right, if you want to replace it with the average of the values of the remaining all the rows, right,
Mhm.
then you have to obviously because each one's average will be different, right? Average for profit will be different and average for discount will be different, right? Mean value.
Mhm.
So you have to do that.
Okay. In case of string, how do you get the average? For example,
No,
customer register
in case
missing.
of string, we cannot calculate average of a string value, right? Customer name or
Mm.
something. Numerical
Mhm.
value we can calculate the average, right?
Yeah. Then how do you fill this the string?
So you can fill it as missing or some
Okay.
other value you can give, missing person, the name is missing, something like that string that will help you identify, okay, this particular field is missing for this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So in general, you cannot handle everything in once. You will have to go separately for each column.
Correct.
Okay.
Depends on the use case, right? What you are trying to achieve there. What is your objective for doing it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys. So we have one last method called drop NA. Okay. Drop NA method. So again, let's go back to our original data frame. If I use here for Excel dot drop NA, and if I give here axis equals to 0, what this will do, it will drop all the rows that is having any null value. Okay, so in this case, the first row was having an NaN value under product, so it dropped it. First and second row is not having any NaN value, was not touched. Third row is again having an NaN value, again it got dropped. Okay, this was for row wise. If you want to drop it column wise, then you can just do axis equals to 1. So all the columns are having NaN values except the column discount. Okay, guys. Okay, guys. So this was all about this workshop. I know Pandas is very huge. You know, its library is huge. It will take at least a lot of time to cover the entire thing. But these were the important ones which I selected from a huge, repository of the functions and all of these. Okay. So this was all from my end, guys. I hope you like learned something from this workshop. If you have any questions, anything to ask, feel free to ask, guys.
Yeah, I have based on this last method, use not drop NA.
Yeah,
So if you did drop NA, rest of the columns got dropped. You have only discount. But
correct.
suppose in your script you are using all the columns. So now when you run that script, it will be missing those columns. So it will throw error. Na? So how do you handle that?
No, so basically what from what I understand, guys, so your question is like there's already one method here. Let's say we are using it somewhere else, right? Now
Hmm.
you are telling that we have dropped it,
Hmm.
but wherever this existing variable is being used, it will show error for each one for them, right? Because now they don't have the desired column. That is the question.
Yes, correct, correct.
But so this is not changing the original data frame.
Hmm.
Okay, our original data frame is still intact.
Okay.
Okay, but this is
Hmm.
creating a new data frame for you. If you want, you can replace the original data frame's discount with this value. You can replace it, but it is not impacting, so it will not have any impact on the previous variable system.
Hmm. Okay, suppose your source itself, that Excel file itself, like for once I processed it and I had all the columns.
Yeah.
So in the next line, I'm using all the columns, so it ran successfully.
Hmm.
Next time, my Excel itself is missing one column. It doesn't have any value in that, so that column itself will be missing. Then if it is go to the next line and it will throw error, no, because that column will be missing from the Excel itself.
No, so see, once we read the Excel file,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we have read the Excel file. It is stored in this data frame. Now, no matter this Excel file we are because it is not we are not running each cell again.
Mm-hmm.
These rows of these column we have read once, and it is stored in this particular data frame.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, if we rerun our first line where we are reading this,
Mm-hmm.
then it will be a problem. But we are not running each cell now. We have once we have the data frame, we are manipulating, working on that particular data frame. We are not working on the original Excel now.
Yeah, but my question is on that only. Like, if every time you are getting a new data,
Yeah.
so then because you will write a script based on the format once in the initially what you got. But every time when that script is running, you will get different data. Sometimes some column will be missing, sometimes you'll get all the columns. So in that case, how do you handle the missing columns?
No, if that is the
If
scenario,
itself
first
will be
see,
missing.
yeah, if you see, if you are doing some like running a script, yeah, right, every day you have to run the script on that particular folder. You have to check the file and do some operation. If you have an operation like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for that, first you have to like this is more of a requirement type of thing, right? So if one application is generating, you are getting that Excel file from an application, okay, so
Yeah.
that application has to give a constant the same result. If they are there's a difference in the columns, and also that we have to report it to the concerned team, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that this is the then it will not work. Obviously it will not work, right? Because then there's a problem with the source file. You have to contact
Mm-hmm.
the source team from where it is getting generated, right? This is not your problem.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. But there's no way to handle the same thing from Pandas.
If you want to make this as flexible, let's say you already know, okay, sometimes you will get this profit, sometimes in this file,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you will get this column date, sometimes you will not get this column date. If you already know beforehand, then you can design your code like that, right? You can check
Mm-hmm.
you can check the name of the columns. Okay, then you can give an if else condition. Okay, if this column is present, then do this. If it is not present, then do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay,
but you
okay.
should be knowing beforehand what are the different options that can come. Then only you can design your code like that.
Mm-hmm. Correct, because any column can be missing anytime.
Correct.
Uh, yeah.
So the first check that you can do now is check the column names. If it
Mm-hmm.
is missing, just throw an exception error message that these columns
Mm-hmm.
are missing. Please check with the
Mm-hmm.
source team. Then only
Okay.
you are able to handle that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. Any other question, guys? Anyone?
Yeah. So, as this continue discussion, like these all changes are in a lineage form, or basically these
No, we
both.
don't have, see, lineage and all, it comes to that PySpark, right?
Yeah,
Because there we have lazy evaluation. Here we are executing each cell at that time. We are
no.
not, you know,
So
yeah.
basically there was no changes in source data, na. Source data is as it is.
Yes.
All is, yeah. Okay, okay, got it. And second question, like in this sheet above, we have mean operation. We apply mean operation.
Yes.
Okay, so in mean operation we get different files, different values,
No, mean
right?
value of a particular column is just
Huh?
like average value of all the values that are not, that does not have any n. There will be only one value for average, right? If you
According
do
to
an,
column, no?
right, for discount we'll have a different average, definitely. So for handling, for profit, I will take the average of the values that are present in the profit column, right? We are mentioning that, right? Profit.
Hmm. Average value of full profit column, right?
Yes, yes, the entire profit.
So that value will be same, na. So it's a, we get different values like 85, 68 to 16.
No, this value is same, right? We are reading from the source. This value is already there from the source, right? We have read it.
But if we apply mean operation, then we get a particular value, basically mean of
Correct,
the profit column.
correct, yes.
So that value will be filled on that
Can
result,
that
no?
value will be filled in this. Yes.
Okay, okay, got it.
Okay, any other doubts, any other question, guys?
In the Excel, you have read the missing seat in the Excel, right? And
Sheet name, yeah, sheet
yeah,
name.
seat name. And can we do the same in the .csv? Like, do we need to write the
In
seat name?
CSVs, we don't have multiple this now worksheet. CSV just comma separated values, right?
No, in the CSV, like, can we select a particular seat and read it in the
So that's what
in
I'm telling you. Generally, if you see in this particular Excel is a binary file. Okay, Excel comes under binary category, where
okay.
the CSV comes under text file. Okay, it should not, ideally CSV should not contain any new tabs and all, new like different sheets. It will only be one sheet where all the value will be separated by commas.
Okay.
Okay, so that is why we cannot have like that. We cannot be, if you try to read a CSV file with sheet name, most probably it will throw you an error. Because if you see the documentation also read CSV, do they have that option sheet name anywhere? I don't think so. They will have it among the options that is present for this read CSV. You see, there is nothing called sheet name here. But if you see the read Excel, you will find that sheet name here. So if I click on read Excel, you see the sheet name here, right at the beginning,
Okay. Okay.
right? But read CSV is not having any such keyword. Fine. Okay, guys. Any other question, guys?
Will this recording be shared?
This recording. Let's see. We'll try to share this. I will try to share.
Okay.
Or we can just
Thank
drop our
you.
email on the chat so you can be sure that at least us get the recording.
Sorry, can you come again?
I was telling that we can drop our emails in this chat so you can just send to 10 of us those join.
Fine. That is also fine. Or yes, or I can put it in a LinkedIn also. It's not a problem. Okay, I can give the this you and the LinkedIn where I have given this post, right? I on top of that I will send the link for it. No issues.
Okay, it
Because
works.
many have dropped, right? There are many. There were other participants also. Few of them have dropped. Okay. Okay, guys. Then I think thanks for joining this workshop. Hope you guys learned something from this. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Yeah,
Have a good
thanks
day.
to you.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
very
you.
useful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.